Today we're stood at Cross Lane. Now, believe it or not, this was once the most busy, vibrant thoroughfare in Salford. It could boast of having 18 public houses, 2 music halls, an open market, cinema, a barracks, any number of shops. Everything was here. They needed churches. Such luminaries have visited and passed down this road include Queen Elizabeth II, Frank Randall, Buffalo Bill, David Lloyd George when he's conferred the freedom of Salford, Albert Schweitzer when he opened the Boys Lads Club, Tommy Cooper and Vinnie Gavira, well known to a lot of Salfordians. The first photograph was taken in 1955 from what was known as Jean's Corner, from Broad Street down Cross Lane towards Eccles New Road. You see Salford Gasworks in the background. Jean's was the chemist, which is on the photograph you see is the electrical rediffusion shop. On your left hand side you can see the Oliver Hayward Monument and the Pendleton Unitarian Church. It gives you an interesting insight to the traffic on Cross Lane, even though it was a quiet Saturday afternoon when the photograph was taken with the buses, transport, etc. The only building still standing from that image is the Corporation Pub, which is now, I do believe, a kebab shop. But that is a great aerial photograph that gives an insight to Cross Lane. As you can see, at the present day there's nothing left standing there. There's just the Oliver Hayward obelisk as the only memorial. This is Pendleton Unitarian Church. The Reverend Arthur Vallance opened a lads club in Tontine Street, which was actually opened by Albert Schweitzer in 1935, and it was appropriately named the Albert Schweitzer's Boys Club. Now, I came across an article in the Salford City Reporter for August 1951. It reported that murals were being painted on the club walls depicting sporting selections, etc. And one of the artists was Harold Riley, aged 16. Now, as we all know, Harold Riley, a Salford-born and bred artist, his work sells for lots and lots of money, and I mean a lot of money. Now, the Pendleton Unitarian was closed and was demolished in 1977. And as you can see now, in its place is just another ubiquitous McDonald's fast food restaurant. Yeah, I just think it's a shame that a wonderful building like that has been demolished to make way for this. This shows you Salford Hippodrome. I know it says above it the Windsor Theatre, but this was a later name change. This photograph was taken in 1957. Now, the actual building opened in 1904 and was known as the Salford Royal Hippodrome, but to generations of Salfordians it will always be known as the Hip. Vaudeville acts such as W.C. Fields played here in 1910. It was rumoured that Charlie Chaplin played here with the Casey's Court Review, but I've tracked it down with the records and sadly it's not true. I wish it was. Other acts who've appeared on the boards there: Len Johnson, who was the boxer, the middleweight champion of Great Britain. He used to do exhibition bouts on stage. There was a chap called Todd Slaughter who used to do travelling review shows, mainly the Sweeney Todd Murder in the Red Barn, the gory, more theatrical productions. Also, circuses would appear at the Hippodrome. Lions, tigers, elephants. It's quite bizarre really. They would be brought down Cross Lane from the sidings at Cross Lane train station in cages, and it's known as the Noah's Ark. And the animals would perform on stage, and children were sometimes invited to go up on stage and actually stroke a lion. It's amazing. After World War II, I came across a piece of Tommy Cooper appearing in, well, he was at the bottom of the bill. Strange thing is, during his act, the pianist, Mr. Grimshaw, collapsed and died of a heart attack. Now, the audience thought this was part of Cooper's act, and the show went on. And ironically enough, in the early 1980s, Cooper himself was to die of a heart attack on stage, and people thought that was part of his act. It's just a coincidence, isn't it? They're very popular with Lancashire comedians, people like Ted Loon, Roy Castle, Charlie Ellis, in the late 50s. In the late 50s, as I say, the cinema went into decline mainly due to the bingo, etc. It changed its name to the Windsor Theatre and was sadly demolished in 1962 under part of the Hankey Park slum clearance programme. As you can see in the background now, it's the Thorn Court, the high-rise buildings. I thought it would be a nice idea if Salford Council had erected a blue plaque in memory of the Hippodrome, but to no avail.